On June 21st, 2019, Beenox and Activision launched their newest game, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled for PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch. In that time, a lot has changed. The biggest change being that after well over 750 hours of playing the game, I can no longer play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Drift boosting has utterly ruined me. But if we're strictly talking about the game, then yeah, a lot has evolved. Let's drive into this retrospective to see what the game is like 1 year on. When it began, it had 31 tracks, which is all of the tracks from the original Crash Team Racing and Crash Nitro Kart, 32 if you count Retro Stadium on PS4, 26 characters, featuring everyone from Crash Team Racing and Crash Nitro Kart, with the exception of Fake Velo. Pentapenguin still had to be unlocked via a cheat code, which is a pretty nice nod to the original, a story mode for Crash Team Racing and not Nitro Kart, cups for a majority of the tracks, relics, CTR challenges, co-op battle arenas featuring all the arenas from Crash Team Racing and Nitro Kart, a huge range of unlockable carts, tyres, stickers, colours, characters and skins from the shop, which will take months of playing to unlock, mirror mode for all the tracks, which still to this day confuse the hell out of me, and of course the Entropy and Oxide time trials. For newcomers, these are designed to bring out your anger and destroy your thumbs. Very successfully, might I add. So yeah, this game had a lot to offer. It wasn't all perfect though. The online had a lot of issues. From desync to failing to load races to these monstrosities! Kill me! To full-blown game crashes, that's ironic, Beenox had a lot of work to do. And sadly, it wasn't only online that had problems, various tracks had some issues too. Dragon Mines was notorious for feeling impossible on the tightest turn of the track. Bumping into a wall even fairly lightly initially put you to a dead stop, so this turn was a huge problem, especially since it was home to the boss, Komodo Joe. Though to be fair, if you understood U-turning, this wasn't actually an issue. Sewer Speedway, on the other hand, was. The jump to get into the shortcut was extremely unreliable. No one could work out what the trick to get into it consistently was, and the wall stopping you thing I mentioned earlier became a huge problem for later parts of the track, where you can drive alongside it to save time and maintain speed. Unfortunately, due to the physics of the game working against you, you stuck to the wall unable to keep your line coming out of the corner. It was a massive deal because Sewer Speedway was always a fan favourite on the PS1. On top of that, some tracks had unintentional shortcuts. You could get past the dead zone skipping entire segments of track and save 20 to 30 seconds, the most notable being Thunderstruck. So I guess the real question is, are all of these problems fixed? Well, I'm delighted to say yes, yes they are! When it comes to hitting walls, they fixed that pretty quickly, but they recently made an update where you can brush against the wall a little and not lose speed, which is incredible. You can get a lot more leeway for your mistakes this way. Unfortunately, not everything is perfect. I have two glitches that I think still needs addressing. Online every so often still boots you out of the lobby. This one is possibly reliant on my internet, but I figured I'd mention it anyway, since it still happens fairly regularly and it doesn't appear to just be me. And then the other is within the time trials. Time trials have an annoying glitch where if you restart, sometimes it will force you to watch the intro to the track, because it thinks it's waiting for player 2 to also press triangle to skip, even though only player 1 is active. I'm unsure what causes this, I think maybe pressing triangle too quickly, but when you're spending hours on a brutally hard time trial and just want to get to your next attempt as soon as possible, this will get annoying really fast. A fix for this could actually be to remove the intro after your first play of that track. Just because it would be faster, I don't know. Overall though, the game's pretty solid, and that's just the start. I haven't even gotten to the new stuff yet. In terms of differences from the original, Beenox were fairly faithful. That said, they did drastically change a bunch of Crash Nitro Kart's tracks. They didn't keep the anti-gravity feature, so they redesigned elements of the Nitro Kart tracks to cater to this. Not that anyone's really complaining, because they also changed one key thing. Blue fire. Specific boost pads give you a significantly larger boost, and where in the original it was maintained by hopping and never touching another boost, now it's maintained by hitting and creating as many boosts as you can until you either stop, brake, or hit something. This change has drastically altered how fast you can properly move in this game. The level of speed is unmatched in any other kart racer, and once you start understanding how to control it, other kart racers do start to feel slower in comparison, which is a shame. There's a section of the menu called the Pit Stop, which allows you to purchase characters, carts, decals, stickers, etc. with Wumpa coins. These coins can be collected by just playing the game. Unfortunately for players, no one really knew how this worked at first. Every track is separated into different tiers in terms of length, so Rouge Tubes being one of the shortest gives you the fewest coins, and Electron Avenue being the most at 80. Throughout the early game, a lot of these tracks changed their values because proper balancing wasn't in place. In fact, Jungle Boogie, a track the same length as Rouge Tubes, was at one point the easiest way to grind coins outside of online because it gave a tier 2 amount of coins instead of a tier 1. Players like myself were a bit disappointed that you couldn't get bonus coins as a reward for doing certain tasks, like beating Adventure Mode or getting a Platinum Relic. Heck, I would have loved a huge coin reward for beating all of the Oxide Ghosts, but sadly at the time there was no reward besides a trophy. A trophy that very few people actually have. The most confusing thing for everyone was the online coin system. People were playing the game and some were getting way more coins than others, and for a while no one could figure out why. The game didn't give any information like it does now. For the first 30 minutes of playing per day, and that's strictly 30 minutes of actual racing, not counting loading times and waiting for the race to start, you get 5 times the amount of coins you normally would, so Electron Avenue would give you 400 instead of 80. And on weekends, the amount is doubled, so Electron Avenue is a fantastic way to grind for coins. But going back to the original point, no one fully understood how this worked for a couple of days, and who could blame us? It's not a super complicated system, but with no info on how it actually worked at all, it was all purely speculation. It didn't help that occasional glitches and time zones and the time people were playing the game played a part in people's coins being doubled for longer, so we simply didn't get it straight away. Additionally, there was also a glitch where you couldn't gain any coins offline. You would just do parts of the adventure mode or a time trial or whatever, and you would be rewarded with no coins because your internet was off. And that was a problem. There was also a problem with the online races ending a little prematurely. As soon as first place crossed the line, everyone had 20 seconds to finish, or they'd be forced to end the race in the position they were in. That's still the case now, but we have 30 seconds instead, which is much nicer. But that is all the launch info out of the way. Let's get to the good stuff. Beenox began its first major event, the Nitro Tour Grand Prix, on July 3rd. As with every Grand Prix that followed, they had a huge range of new carts, paint jobs, wheels, skins, decals and stickers, as well as multiple daily, weekly and monthly challenges which granted you Nitro points. These Nitro points would go towards additional rewards as mentioned above. The ultimate reward being that if you were in the top 5% of players, either through online racing points or Nitro points, you would get a decal and a cart exclusive to that Grand Prix. The cart stayed the same per Grand Prix, but the decal changed each time. If you were dedicated enough to play the game to get a lot each month to get the 42,000 points required to get the best reward, which was a character skin, you'd be in the top 5%. That said, it wasn't always easy to complete certain tasks to get Nitro points. Daily challenges included stuff like take part in time trials, or finish a race with 10 Wumpa Fruit, whereas the Pro challenges had some truly awful stuff. And I don't mean, wow, this is super hard, very few people will do it. I mean, downright unfair. There were some which were really cool, like drive in reverse for an entire lap, so tracks like Coco Park were viable for this as long as you set it to 7 laps. But then there was 0 to first. Finish first place whilst starting the final lap in last, and it has to be done with online matchmaking. You can't cheat it by entering a private room with a friend. Sometimes this was the case, but most times no. Now, let me explain why this is quite frankly nearly impossible. Crash Team Racing is an extremely fast-paced game. If you want to win, you need to be the best of the best, and you need to not falter. If you get far behind, it's near impossible to win just because of the type of player you'll be up against. There's no measure in place to pit you against people with equal skill levels, so you're in a mosh pit of random skill levels, with at least one of them being god tier or close to it. Whilst it's true that being further back gets you better weapons, that's not enough to help you in this scenario. For you to be last and win on the same lap, you need everyone to be at equal skill levels. Because you need everyone to be close together, because you need to hang back to make sure you can cross the line to start the final lap in last. If anyone gets constantly screwed by items, they're too far back, you stand no chance. If you don't have a full 8-person race, the AI, which is set to easy, will fill in, and you stand absolutely no hope. Your best chance is either equally skilled racers or, no disrespect, novices, so you can destroy them all by knowing how to race better. That is why this challenge is near impossible. The way I did it was by getting lucky. Because online was unstable, everyone disconnected mid-race at times. If it was early enough in the race that everyone was still bunched together, you would be fine and could win that way. That however won't always work anymore, because if the connection does cut out, the AI drives in circles confused sometimes, which is pretty weird. Now that rant's over, there are 2 other things added in each Grand Prix: characters and tracks. The track Twilight Tour was added, and it is easily one of my favourite tracks. Based on the Egyptian and Arabian levels in Crash 3, it is extremely fast-paced and a good way to learn maintaining your blue fire. On top of that, the Nitro Squad joined the fray. Originally holding the umbrellas in Crash Team Racing, these girls are now racers and are excellent additions to the game, as is Torna from Crash Bandicoot 1. They also added Velo masks from Crash Nitro Kart for the Velo-related characters, since that wasn't implemented yet. This event lasted until July 28th, and then on August 2nd, the Back in Time Grand Prix began. In the midst of this new Grand Prix, Beenox were attempting different things with the online mode. They needed a way to balance the people who were new at the game and the people who were legends, because it's an unfair race. This resulted in arguably one of the worst online experiences for a couple of weeks. They increased the rate at which the warp orb and clocks were picked up, so they showed up at least 3 to 5 times each race, which made being in the lead a nightmare. But also because of how these items worked, almost everyone else was affected too, so no one really benefited. Instead, the fast-paced nature of the game was grounded to a halt fairly regularly, which is a major shame. People have been requesting a mode where you play online without items, and this added a lot of fuel to that fire. It also didn't help that trolls were purposefully staying back to make people's races a living hell. If they weren't getting orbs or clocks, they were trying to ram into you with masks as you overlapped them, which was amazing! Thank you for that! The track Prehistoric Playground, which is a fake Crash alternate universe revolving around the prehistoric stages in Crash 3, was added alongside new characters, Baby Crash, Baby Coco, and Baby T. One of Baby Crash's alternate costumes is genuinely terrifying. Why did you do this? The championship cart and the new decals were offered again to the top 5% as usual, but due to a glitch they accidentally gave it out to everyone early, so this Grand Prix had 2 special decals. The one that was given out at the beginning, and the new prized decal as usual. However, this isn't the only glitch that occurred. The Dino Pack, which originally contained the fake pterodactyl head and fake triceratops head stickers, was glitched out in the pit stop during the Grand Prix. It appeared in the pit stop, but couldn't be bought. As such, those stickers were unobtainable until the Neon Grand Prix, which introduced them in a different bundle. It was the most infuriating thing for OCD reasons. Unfortunately, the grind to get everything in the store was made a lot easier with the new addition, Microtransactions. On August 7th, you now had the ability to buy Wumpa coins with a lot of real money, which received a lot of criticism. $16 for 11,000 coins is a lot of money, especially when in most updates there's 70,000 coins worth of new stuff. If you want to take the fast route, it'll cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Before the Grand Prix ended, Beenox tried something new. The Super Engine power, which is available in battle modes, became available online. This was to try and give those who were far behind a chance to catch up. If you have max Wumpa Fruits, this boost would grant you blue fire if you could keep it running. This includes tracks where a blue turbo was otherwise inaccessible, so it did actually help balance things out a little. The Back in Time Grand Prix ended on the 25th of August and ushered in the Spyro and Friends Grand Prix on the 30th of August. We knew it was coming and we were all hyped. The 2 mascots collaborating for the first time ever.
Teal, you're forgetting about...
For the first time ever. Spyro, Hunter, and Nasty Nork were the new characters alongside the brand new Spyro Circuit, a track that featured elements of the Artisans and Magic Crafters homeworld. Some people were a bit disappointed as they hoped it would cover more of Spyro 1 or elements of the whole trilogy, but this track did add Sparks as a mask equivalent, which is pretty cool. There's not much else to say about this one, apart from that they added Crash Mind of a Mutant skins for Coco and Crunch. The multiple skins that they added for each Grand Prix really are excellent. Especially since in this Grand Prix they added a Geary skin. Oh, wait, no, they didn't. Moving on. This started the trend of Grand Prix lasting a full month, as it ended on September 29th. On October 4th, the Spooky Grand Prix began. Happy Halloween, everyone! Everyone was visited by the most terrifying thing of all! Fatigue. Because the Grand Prix only had a 5-day break each time, people were starting to get annoyed at playing the game non-stop in order to get everything. Some people stopped playing the game altogether, and others weren't enjoying themselves as much when they played. For me, this was my de-stress game, so I actually didn't really mind, but Beanox did do some cool stuff to help boost spirits. Spirits taken. That actually wasn't intended when I wrote that. This was a pretty big one in terms of changes. First off, we received 3 new characters, Nina, Embryo, and Komodo Mo, and the brand new track, Nina's Nightmare, a fun but tough to master track exploring Nina's subconscious. There's even a reference to Madame Amberley from Crash to Insanity, which is pretty cool. This brought in a new feature, the ghosts. Every so often, a ghost would emerge from a crate, and if you could catch up to it, it would help towards completing the themed challenges. It's a cool feature, but they're hard to collect without compromising your line, especially online. Other than that, they did something truly wonderful. If you're new to the game, you may not know, but similar to the original PS1 game, you could not change which racing style you had on each character. Instead, each character was assigned a specific class, and if the character you wanted to play as didn't have the class you're used to, tough. You either learn it or don't play as them. Now, you could choose whatever you want. They also added in a drift class, which I am now a proud user of. It took time to adjust from acceleration to drift, but it is much faster. There was also a cool Geary skin where Geary had a bolt in his head like Frankenstein's monster. Oh wait, no, that didn't happen. The Neon Circus Grand Prix began on November the 8th, and it featured Koala Kong, Pasadena Opossum, and Ebenezer Von Clutch, alongside the Koala Carnival track. This track is essentially like the Excitebike's track from Mario Kart 8, and comes with an easy-to-learn blue fire boost. If you're still trying to learn how to control it, this is a fantastic track, since it's wide and there's a huge turn to test it on. But that's boring. We want to talk about King Chicken! In the hub in adventure mode, there's a panel with 5 slots and no way to open it. Or at least, there wasn't. 5 golden eggs were added to the adventure mode, 1 for each part of the main hub, and they're not easy to get if you don't know how to get the most out of your cart. They're placed specifically so they're hard to collect. They're so hard to the point where some players have given up, but your reward is King Chicken, a brand new character from Beanox. It's very weird, I kind of love it. They also added Ring Rally, a brand new mode where you drive through rings to gain points. You're on a timer that's constantly going down, but going through rings grants you more time. The rings also give you a boost, with the boost getting bigger depending on which lap you're on. Lap 3 onwards will give you a blue flame. This mode, whilst fun, is primarily for teaching you about shortcuts you might not have known about, and also how to control blue fire. Since any ring lap 3 onwards will give it to you, even if you lose it before another ring, you can try again pretty quickly. I definitely appreciate Beanox's efforts in making it easier for newcomers to learn the technical stuff. Oh man, I love the Geary skin where he's dressed like a clown! Oh, wait. I guess we're all the clowns. On December 12th, the Winter Festival Grand Prix began, and people were excited to see what Christmas goodies were in store. Well, the characters we got were pretty surprising. Chicken Stew, our favourite commentators, joined the fray. They were also joined by Yaya Panda from the mobile racing games, and a brand new character, Hasty the Moose. Hasty's conception derives from a misconception about a character cut from the original Crash Team Racing. The aforementioned character was found as a sketch in series artist Bob Raffai's portfolio of Crash Team Racing character designs. Raffai later stated in an interview that the character design was just a mascot idea sketched for the Trippo Airfare search engine, lumped by mistake with other Crash Team Racing sketches. Despite Raffai's image being titled Trippo, he was falsely named Fasty, and it was still named as such internally in Nitro Fueled. Beanox used this as the basis for Hasty, giving it a personality, style, and a different design. On top of that, we also got a horrible incarnation of Rillaroo. Rillaroo from Crash Bash, yes, but a version we should have instead seen in the Spooky Grand Prix. But we will get to that a little later, there is more to this story. The skins were also wonderfully festive, with my favourite being Spyro. That said, in his little box icon, I can't help but see Mewtwo. Is it just me? I hope it's not. The new track, Gingerbread Joyride, is a pretty tough candy wonderland that I don't think too many people enjoyed massively. But more impressively, they fixed the Warp Orb. The Warp Orb couldn't catch up to first place if they were utilising blue fire correctly, but the speed of it certainly fixed that. Your only saving grace is a shield or a mask. I actually love this change, it is great. Next, on January 18th, the Rustland Grand Prix began, and it features arguably the weirdest character in the game, Megamix. Megamix is a boss from Crash Bandicoot's The Huge Adventure on the Game Boy Advance, which is a combination of Cortex, Tiny, Dingodile, and Engine, and yeah, they added it to this game. It's pretty excellent. As is the track. Megamix Mania is such a cool idea. It's a post-apocalyptic wasteland featuring a dried-up ruse tubes and the crashed ship from Crash to Insanity. What an awesome idea for a track! Beanox also added in Golden Wumpa Fruit. Every so often, the Golden Wumpa Fruit flies out of a crate, exactly the same as the ghosts on the Spooky Grand Prix. But this time, if you catch up to them, you get 200 coins, which is a fantastic way to help the grind to get everything in the store. Midway through the Grand Prix, the trophy model held by Crash in the game's introduction menu was changed via an update to the Game Awards trophy to reference Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled winning Best Sports and Racing Game at the Game Awards, which is a lovely touch. It was so cool to see. Ah, Pro Challenges! Let's see what you've got this month. Back in the race? Are you kidding? Are you Right, it's time to move on to the final Grand Prix. On February 20th, the Gasmoxia Grand Prix began. Drive-Through Danger is one of my favourite tracks in the game. The homeworld of Oxide is a fast-paced, twisty masterpiece where two fast food joints are competing to be the best. It also has some of my favourite music in the game, so Beanox absolutely nailed this one. This time the new racer is Emperor Velo the 27th, and he is not messing around. He's got brand new time trials. If you thought the Oxide time trials were tough, they have got nothing on these. Prepare to pour blood, sweat and tears into this if you want to win. But once you win, you'll get a cool new decal for the championship card. They also added one for Oxide Ghost, which means this is the new way to unlock the championship card if they've missed out on the Grand Prix, which is a nice touch. But with that, the Grand Prix are over. That's the end of the video, right? Nope! You didn't forget about Geary, did you? Beanox promised some post-Grand Prix content, including skins, decals, new characters, and even alterations to existing skins. And rejoice! Geary finally got a skin in a Beanox bundle referencing a bunch of Beanox stuff. It's actually a reference to the intro to past Beanox games, which is pretty great. So, which new characters have we received? Well, the lab assistant has joined the roster, Baby Cortex and Baby Entropy has joined the other children, and fixed Rillaroo. Yeah, Beanox heard the complaints and they have redone Rillaroo's design. What's crazy is that this is different depending on if you had the original character. If you have the original Rillaroo, you get both. But if you only got the game recently, this Rillaroo is the only version of Rillaroo in the game and won't have fixed in the name. Those who got the game prior technically have an extra character, which is pretty wild. But not as wild as the final editions. In every single track, there is now a hidden Beanox crate. If you smash all of them, you unlock the crate! That's right, a crate is driving a car. So at this point you really have to wonder, this crate is a sentient life form. It is driving a car. So have we been committing mass genocide in each game just to collect a couple of gems? And how do they reproduce? Does this crate have a tiny cube dick and balls? I don't know. But I want to know. And now you do too. That is the greatest gift I will ever give you. You're welcome. Also, here's the victory animation. Honestly, I didn't see it coming, and I just burst out laughing. It is just genius. And its alternate skin even contains a reference to Crash Bash, which is amazing. The cup challenges have always been available, but there's finally a reward for playing them. Bronze, silver and gold paint jobs for your carts for beating them on all difficulties. In fact, you only need to win on hard to unlock all three. It's not the most exciting thing, but it's certainly nice to add replay value. That said, let's give a shout out to Turbo Track being the only track not in any of the cups. They added a desert and space cup purely for 2 tracks which didn't fit, but not a normal roads tournament. I mean, Turbo Track, Slide Coliseum, Coco Park, and I guess throw something else in there, maybe Android Alley. Don't be so cruel to Turbo Track, it's the only one not in a cup. The challenges are back. There are daily, weekly, and monthly challenges, and they grant you Wumpa coins now. So it's much easier to get more coins. The golden Wumpa fruit is still roaming the tracks as well, so you can get more there too. Let's take a look at the monthly challenges. Back in the race! What are you doing? How are you? Only 200 coins? Come on, give me 1,000 for this. This is not fair. Recently, because of the coronavirus lockdown, Beenox have increased the amount of time you get extra coins online by double, which is super nice of them. So it's worth playing for a couple of hours each weekend for plenty of coins. But Beenox has one final gift. A gift that would ruin the lives of the players. The developer time trials. William P. I love and loathe you. These time trials are ludicrous. If you thought Velo was tough, you will struggle for hours upon hours to beat one of these. I still haven't beat most of them. This is only doable by the absolute god tier players, but I fully respect them. But now it is the 1 year anniversary, and surprisingly, they didn't actually do anything for it. As of right now, nothing has been announced, and that's really very surprising, since it's been a couple months since anything new has been added to the game. So with that, I think we're done here. What a year it has been for this game. It has evolved so much. Sometimes not always for the better, as I've talked about, but the community is wonderful and we've all had an awesome time racing, even if the road has been bumpy at times. But the fun doesn't stop just yet. We've still got more to play, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Is there anything I'd change? Sure, I'd love the ability to create custom online rooms with a code so I could play with my viewers without adding them as friends on the PS4. Or the ability to race online without power-ups, or maybe even the ability to create custom Grand Prix tournaments with people, or mirror mode races. And I guess also a mirrored version of Beenox's turbo meter would be nice. It's just a personal preference thing, but I really like how it looks, but would prefer the meter going left instead of right. But overall, I love this game. Truly I do. If I didn't, I wouldn't have put nearly 1,000 hours into it, and I wouldn't have made this video. To everyone at Beenox, thank you. You've made something truly special. You've taken months out of my life, and I wouldn't change that for anything. I can't wait to see what you do next. And with that, I guess it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this rather lengthy video. I certainly have enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, share the video around. I also have a Twitch, a Twitter, and a Patreon if you would like to support me and the channel. So tell me, have you loved the past year of Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled? When did you pick up the game? Did you get it at launch? Did you pick it up recently? What's your favourite track? Just tell me, what's your experience like with the game? I'd love to know. If you want to check out more stuff on my channel, I've got plenty of Let's Plays that you can check out. I've got other reviews. I've got a series called Party Hard where my friend Emil and I and other friends are going through every single party game ever made in release order, and it is gonna be a trip. We have had amazing times so far. I also cover new games when they come out, so there's plenty to see from me. And I've got best of montages if you want to see just specific sections. You can see best moments for playthroughs, or entire months, or an entire year from 2019 onwards, because I didn't start doing it until then. I'm working my way up. I've redone all of 2008 to 2013. My content's not great then, but I'm getting there. 2014 to 2018, let's go! But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care, stay safe, bye bye.